Zach Wilson, number 2, played better than Josh Allen.
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Brees Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and the New York Jets obviously just came off of a huge win yesterday against the Buffalo Bills, who strongly were considered the best team in the NFL going into that game. And while the Jets were an up-and-coming and striving team, we went there and we beat Buffalo. But today's video, we're going to be talking about how in the quarterback duel, Zach Wilson won. And Zach Wilson was by far and away the better quarterback yesterday, and his team won because he played smart and efficient football, and Josh Allen just didn't. But before we get into that, guys, let's get into the comment section below. Let me know what you think about anything and everything about all of my videos. While you're down there, hit the subscribe button and the like button. I would really appreciate it. But most importantly, guys, there are a bunch of links in the description. Go take a look at all those stuff. Patreons, Twitter. I'm getting more active on Twitter, all of that stuff. So if you want to be apprised of my thoughts, opinions, live tweets during the game, get down there. It's a blast. But let's hop right in to today's video. Obviously, we all know that the New York Jets won 20-17 over the Buffalo Bills, and that Zach Wilson probably had one of his best days as a pro in the NFL, especially when you take into consider the level of competition that he faced, right? Buffalo going into this game, according to my top 10, according to a lot of people's top 10s and their power rankings, was the best team in football. And that's a big deal. That's a big mantle to carry. And the New York Jets beat them. And of the two quarterbacks, obviously Zach Wilson looked a lot better. So I want to talk about obviously like the box scores and what that means and how that affects the game. But most importantly, I wanted to talk about context, and we have to fill the context of what we're going. So let's start with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson went 18 of 25 for 154 yards, 62 yards, 6.2 yards per average on every throw, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He did get sacked twice, and we lost 18 yards in both of those sacks, one of those being a strip sack, so he fumbled the ball, but he had a 76.4% QBR and a 101.1 quarterback rating. Now, if we compare that to what Josh Allen did, Josh Allen went and Zach Wilson had a 72% completion percentage. That is by far and away the highest completion percentage in his NFL career. His previous high was 67%. Josh Allen in this game also completed 18 passes on 34 attempts, 205 yards through the air, 6 yards on average per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks, a QBR of 64.2, and a passer rating of 46.8. Now, that's just the box score, and that's just, stats. But if we want to put context on it, Zach Wilson played incredibly safe with the football. There was, after watching the game back a little bit, there were only 3 passes throughout this entire game that I looked at that were 100% bad throws by Zach. Of the 25 passes he did, only 3 were bad throws. Everything else was either a drop, a throwaway, or something where like you could say, you know what, it was kind of a 50-50 bad ball, 50-50 bad catch. There were 3 passes that I can honestly attribute to Zach just being bad with the football. The first one is Denzel Mims' 50-50 ball up in the air. He put just a little bit too much mustard on it. You can argue that Denzel Mims should have brought that ball down, and I get that, and I believe that too. But still, I'm going to put the onus on Zach there. He was in the pocket. He was relatively clean. Yes, there was pressure. He was facing constant pressure. But he was able to get the ball out, and he just put a little bit too much. And I understand what you're doing there, right? Denzel Mims is 6'3". He's really strong. He's going up against the smaller corner that's on him. You try to put the ball only where his receiver can get it, and that's up in the air. That's up high, and that's what Denzel Mims is great at. He just put too much mustard on it. And the reason I'm attributing this to being a bad ball by Zach is because if there was a second DB in that area, that could have led to an interception, because Denzel Mims went up for it, it hit his hands, and it popped up into the air, and now we have a tip drill, and that's a problem. Now, it didn't turn into that, but there's one bad throw. The second one was on a quick out route to the right. I believe the ball was going to Braxton Berrios, and he did have pressure in his face, but we know that Zach's strength and ability with his arm doesn't necessarily come 100% from his hips, his core, and his legs, where a lot of quarterbacks get a lot of the power behind their throws, right? It's a lot in their whole body, not just their arm, but we know that Zach Wilson has an incredibly powerful arm, because we have all these off platforms, on the move, sidearm, all of these things where you don't get to engage your core, your legs, and the rest of your body. And Zach throws that ball incredibly short, and that would have turned upfield for 4 or 5 yards. That would have been a relatively good play. And then the last one is that out route to the left. He had Conklin wide open on a third down, and he just missed him straight up. And that's it. But if we look at Josh Allen's game and we look at the mistakes that he had, they should have been 3 interceptions. Jordan Whitehead's hands made of jelly, gets a ball thrown right at him, boom, bounces right out. He gets an interception, throws an interception earlier in the game, absolutely bad. The first pick in the red zone to Jordan Whitehead. How do you not see Jordan Whitehead there? I understand that there's a big body in front of you, but that's just a bad ball by Josh Allen. And then the other interception of Sauce Gardner, again, I don't know if it's a miscommunication between him and Gabe Davis, but it looked like he was throwing a pass to Sauce. And you have to put credit where credit is due on the defenses, but the Buffalo Bills going into this game was a top 10 defense in the NFL. Yes, they were incredibly injured, but that hadn't slowed them down at all this year. The safeties that they have replacing Jordan Poyer and Tre'Davious White, is it Tre'Davious White? I believe it's Tre'Davious White, are incredibly good. I had underrated them going into this game, but after watching them play, they are incredibly good in coverage. They are incredibly good at their jobs. They're just not the best tacklers. And the corners on the outside, Kaiir Elam, I was really high on Kaiir Elam. I had him as my 3rd cornerback when it came to grades this past draft. I really, really liked him. So it's not like Zach Wilson went up against a chump of a defense either. Buffalo Bills have the perennial Pro Bowler Von Miller. Greg Rousseau is incredible. I know that he got hurt, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, Jordan Phillips is still there. Like, they have so many good players. Boogie Basham, forget about him. I love him. They have a lot of really good people on the defensive line, but this offensive line stepped up. Mike LaFleur stepped up, and ultimately, I think the better quarterback won. Let me put a caveat on there. I am not saying that Zach Wilson is better than Josh Allen. I am saying in this past game, Zach Wilson was a better quarterback than Josh Allen, and this is good. This is good seeing Zach Wilson's growth. He went from having probably the worst game of his career to one of the best games of his career. And now we get to go in the bye riding a high, and all we have to look forward to now is New England, a team that we're better than. So let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? I thought Zach Wilson played better. Do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.